Hi, this is Mark Sermon, Executive Director of the Mozilla Foundation, and welcome to the Badges MOOC. And I've been asked to talk a little bit about who Mozilla is, what open is, and why badges and open badges matter to Mozilla. So just as a starting point, what is open? And for us at Mozilla, open really means you can look inside something, you can take it apart, and you can actually use it for your own purposes without asking permission from anybody. So in the case of the web, what that means is the web is made of open technology. I can go and use HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. I can go use the core technologies of the web without asking permission from anyone, because they're not owned by anybody. They're just a core set of Lego blocks in which anybody can build anything they want. But they're also designed so you can see inside them. I can go view source on any web browser and understand how a web page or a web app is working. And I can also take that Lego apart, understand different pieces of it, study it, reuse it for my own purposes. So that's really what Mozilla stands for. It's what Firefox was built on. It's why Firefox is open source, and is why we're such big champions of the web. So what might that look like for badges and in education? Well, when we first started thinking about badges, we saw a real opportunity to help learning and education work like the web. And what does that mean? In the case of badges, it really means a system of accreditation and then an underlying set of technologies to support that, to have that transparency, that sense of being able to take things apart and replug them back together, that idea of a system that anybody could use and anybody could build on at its core. The idea that really anybody who's credible and can prove their credibility should be able to actually do some kind of accreditation. And right now, we live in a world where there really are small monopolies on accreditation, and that's holding learning back. And so at the base level, what Mozilla has done is built an open badges technology that works on the same principles as the web. It's open source, anybody can use it, anybody can offer accreditation using that. But it's also interoperable, and that's an important principle of the web that extends openness. Any badge that I offer, you can offer to a badge using the same system, and they plug together. So I, as a learner, can collect badges from anywhere. And it's just like email. If you think back to email in the 80s, used to be that email wasn't interoperable. If I had email on one system like CompuServe, I couldn't easily send it to you on another system on your university. And then we actually developed open standards like SMTP, the standard that moves email around the internet. And it meant you could send email from any system to any other system. We want a system of accreditation with open badges that works that same way. Whether I earn a badge at a university or I earn it from an online source or from an after-school program, those badges should all work together, just like email from any system can go to any other system. So that's really what we're talking about with open badges at a technical level. But of course, the whole idea that badges are built on an open system brings the kind of broader transformational aspects of open with it. And that ties badges quite closely back to Mozilla's mission. If you have open badges where anyone can actually get into that business of accreditation and we actually can disrupt that, we can actually imagine a democratization of learning through badges, then you start to imagine a world where learning works more like the web. And that's really at the core of what Mozilla cares about, is that the values and culture and technology of the web really spread and endure through society. And then on some more concrete levels, we actually care that the identity systems that people use, the ways that people portray and represent themselves on the web are built on open principles and open source technology. And certainly a core thing is like your login, my ability like a Facebook Connect to log into something. So that's why we have an identity solution called Persona. But there's other things that over time people are attaching to their identity, and educational credentials will be one piece of that. And we want to make sure with badges that that's open and that's open source and that works like the web. So there's a bunch of reasons that we think that badges need to be open, they need to connect, anybody needs to be able to build on the system. We really need learning that works like the web. And there's a bunch of reasons that Mozilla cares about badges, which are both about the broader idea of disrupting education in the name of the kind of values of the web, as well as specific opportunities around moving ahead this idea of open and open source identity. And of course, Mozilla actually wants to and is using badges for its own program. So it's just a great way to help people learn, to motivate them, and to recognize their learning. So at just a practical level, we want badges because we need them. So I hope you enjoy the course, and feel free to reach out if you have questions from me or Mozilla about how we're connected into this whole thing. Thanks very much.